INFJs, can you imagine a life where your needs are respected and maybe even taken seriously and overwhelm is no longer a thing? Wouldn't that be amazing? Today, we are chatting about 7 unexpected ways an INFJ life will change once we get good at setting and maintaining healthy boundaries. Now, before you swipe away, I know boundaries are scary for most INFJs. We don't like them. But they are really important, and this is going to be a really interesting video because some of these things I wasn't even aware of when I started working on my boundaries, that my life was going to change in these ways because of boundaries. So stick around. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am so glad you found it. My name's Trina Bretnell. I am an INFJ, and I'm an INFJ coach. I like to show up and just share things that have helped me along the way, make life a little easier so I can start helping people start living a life where they're thriving instead of just surviving. That's what I like to do, is just help. If you're returning to my channel, welcome back. I'm so grateful for you. So let's get into this. Now, INFJs, we do really struggle with boundaries, right? We worry about disappointing others or hurting others' feelings, right? We worry that boundaries are going to push people away. We've got that fear of abandonment or rejection, and we really worry that boundaries are going to make them go away. That was a huge one for me, huge. We also love helping people. So we're always, for the most part, willing to give a helping hand, right? Oh, I can help you with this, or because we know what people need, we can give them that so we can help them. But oftentimes we just do it to the extent where we're running ourselves ragged. Many of us were not allowed to have boundaries growing up as kids, or we were made feel bad or not worthy because we had boundaries. So boundaries were just a bad thing for us, and we carried that into our adult life. Those are some of the reasons. There's a whole list of reasons why INFJs struggle with boundaries. Those are the main ones that I have found throughout coaching clients and in my life. The main ones why we struggle with boundaries. But this causes us lots of barriers when it comes to establishing boundaries, and boundaries are essential for an INFJ. Just because we are a giving type of a personality type, we like to give, we like to help, we're very easily taken advantage of and walked over. We're very prone to burnout, overwhelm, and boundaries will stop all of this. Plus, we tend to attract those narcissistic personality types and those manipulative personality types. They're just attracted to us because of our empathy. It's actually quite interesting when you start researching why they're attracted to us, but they really are attracted to us. I'm not going to get into it today because that's a whole other can of worms, but it's super interesting. But they really are attracted to us, and boundaries will help that. It will help us be able to keep control. I know I spent years with a narcissist, and that's what it was like, is my life was out of my control completely. Everything about it was like out of my control. That's the best that I can describe it. And I was worthless. And boundaries will help us avoid that. We'll be able to keep control of our lives and our self-worth. So today I'm going to share with you 7 ways our life will change once we get really good at setting and maintaining those healthy boundaries, even though they make us uncomfortable. Boundaries are a skill. It's a skill that we need to work on and build and get comfy with. Anything that we try that's new, generally we're uncomfortable with it, right? New things are uncomfy. So once we start building those skills and we get good at it and we see how our life is actually changing, it gets less uncomfy, less scary to continue with those skills. The first way an INFJ life can change once they master those skills, or not even master, I don't want to use that word master because that's a little bit intimidating. Once we get good and learn some of those skills to set and maintain those healthy boundaries, is increased emotional stability. This is kind of big because we're an emotional personality type, right? Boundaries allow us to protect our emotional well-being so that we are not overwhelmed and not feeling burnt out. I don't know about you, but I am very, very prone to overwhelm and burnout, and I don't like either one of those. Overwhelm will shut me down really quick, and it'll put me in a negative space. So boundaries has helped me be able to create a nice balance and an emotional state, being able to know my limits and what I can and cannot do. Number 2, it will improve our life by improving relationships. which is huge for a lot of INFJs. This is a struggle for lots of INFJs. I see this lots. Relationship issues, whether it's platonic or romantic, we have relationship issues. Boundaries foster a mutual respect and understanding in relationships. When we develop meaningful connections, when we develop those boundaries and maintain it, we can develop meaningful connections. If I could talk today, meaningful connections that will respect our needs and our limits and not take advantage of us and walk all over us. Sometimes that's how it feels, right? We start attracting different kinds of people that will respect that of us. Number 3, the third way that setting healthy boundaries and getting good at doing it and maintaining them will help an INFJ life is it will boost self-esteem and confidence. This was a big one for me. And it's quite interesting because our self-worth, when we have low self-worth, we actually will struggle with boundaries. But once we just push through that struggle, it will actually improve our self-worth, our self-esteem, and our confidence. So we need one for the other in both circumstances. We need self-worth and self-esteem to establish boundaries. And once we establish the boundaries, it will help us grow our self-worth and self-esteem. It enforces a sense of self-worth by allowing us to realize that we have the right to prioritize our needs and our feelings. Remember a little bit ago I said that many of us as children were not allowed to have boundaries, that boundaries were bad, that we were made feel that we're not worthy of it. This is where this comes in. And it will help boost that self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth, which is a huge game changer in life because lots of our life issues has to do with our self-esteem, our self-worth, and our confidence. Number 4, the fourth way that boundaries will improve an INFJ life is we will have a more relaxed and peaceful life. Wouldn't that be amazing? It would be so amazing. Defining what we are comfy with and not allowing us and what we're not okay with. So it allows us to define what we're comfy with. We can identify what we're okay with and what we are not okay with. Sorry, I was going on a rant there and totally lost what I was going to say. We can avoid, once we identify what we're okay with and what we are not okay with, it helps us be able to identify those triggers and those situations that are going to cause anxiety and stress, so we can live a more relaxed and peaceful life. Number 5, boundaries, having and maintaining boundaries, being able to do it will improve our physical health. Did you know that? Physical health. I didn't actually realize that it would impact us this way, but it really does. And when you think about it, it makes sense. Boundaries will reduce stress, right? I just said that in point number 4. It will relax us and lead a peaceful life because we can identify those triggers and avoid them. When we reduce stress, it reduces all those physical symptoms that are related to stress. And there's like a list of them. I'm not going to get into them today, but there is a list of physical symptoms that are related to a stressful life. And I'm an INFJ that is very prone to stress. I'm a very stressed INFJ. So this was huge. I really loved that it did this for me. Number 6, the 6th way that having and maintaining healthy boundaries will help an INFJ's life is it allows us to get greater clarity and focus. So this is kind of cool. Boundaries help us to not take so much on and get involved in other people's issues so that it gives us time to be able to focus and get curious about what it is that we want, what it is that we want to do, what our goals are, what's for us. And it's quite amazing because we will start seeing opportunities that we didn't know were there. We'll start getting involved in different experiences and seeing opportunities, and life changes directions when that happens. It's really cool. And the last way, boundaries and getting really good at mastering your boundaries, it will help you more than just 7 ways, but I didn't want to keep you guys too long. So for today, the last way that I'm going to talk about that it will improve our life is it will help us see opportunity, like I had just said. Boundaries give us a clear sense of self and and prioritize who we are and be able to identify, like I just mentioned, what we really want out of life, right? So we'll see new experiences and we'll start going down paths that we didn't know even existed. And it's really neat how that works. So number 6 and number 7, they kind of build on each other, getting the clarity and the focus that we need. And then we can see those opportunities come to us. So if you would like to sharpen your boundary skills, get good at it so that you can live a full life full of happiness and figure out really what direction you want to go and prioritize your needs, not feel so overwhelmed and taken advantage of, I'm hosting a boot camp, a boundary mastery boot camp specifically for INFJs. I will teach skills that will help you overcome that sensory overload. I hate sensory overload so much. It will improve social awareness and communication. The skills will help you improve that. Skills that will help you identify your needs from other people's emotions, which is huge. Oftentimes, INFJs, we have no idea what is ours and what isn't. And this will actually lead to that sensory overload, that emotional overload, and it's just a mess inside of us. So it helps identify what is ours and what isn't so that you can give it back and we don't have to deal with everybody else's. I will teach you skills that will reduce people-pleasing tendencies, which was a huge one for me. I was a real people pleaser. And how to be okay with saying no. Many of us are not okay with saying no. We feel guilty around it. We just do not like to say no. So I will teach you skills on how to be okay with saying no, getting comfy with simply saying no. And how to deal with those narcissistic and manipulative individuals. That's a huge one for us because remember I said earlier, we attract them. So I will teach you skills on dealing with that. If this is something that interests you, head on over to my link in my bio or in the show description below and follow that link because there's more information. Everything you need to know is in that link. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like my video. Feel free to share it. The more times it's shared, the more INFJs we get to help. And really, that's what it's all about. And I invite you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. All right, thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye for now.